There's a number of videos that I've done on MGTOW, and I really bring more of a Gnostic perspective, a spiritual perspective, and I look at more the social engineering of today's human being as opposed to attacking women, which sets this channel, even though it's not really understood by a lot of women, and I'm still resented, and there's still assumptions, but there are some pretty stark differences between how I describe the collapse of Western civilization, if you will, the gender warfare, elaborating on why I believe these are some of the most unromantic times to be alive. So I've already put out a few videos already. Why I don't chase the women of today's day and age, what men should know about a lot of women, what women should know about men, the differences between some of the younger women of today's day and age and their older counterparts, even if they're attractive as well for being older. But as far as the age, the difference in personality regarding their age, and just a vast difference. So I've been talking about these things in years, and I think that it's important for women to also know the damage of letting technology replace our relationships. And I've talked about this before, and also in a more general way, and also to men to men, like, hey, Facebook is there, but we should really be using that as a meetup so we can really better our lives. So if you're, libertarians, or if you're involved in activism, you don't use that as the place for your revolution. You organize, you meet up, and you do something, and also you have a good time. There could be a club to where, hey, it shouldn't just be that group or that group that gets together and plays cards. Why are people that are politically aware not hanging out more and having more fun and doing more clubs and doing more campouts? So I've been an advocate of that, and what I really want to address specifically, why it's hard for a lot of women to understand where the men are coming from, or why it's easier for them to let technology be the barrier. What is it about us that's so different? Is it cultural programming? Is it brain structure? I don't know the answer. I've asked these questions before. So this video isn't about answering that, but just dealing with the what is. So there seems to be a disconnect with those of us that are males with most females. And technology in general has made it easier for us to navigate the world and do things. Now, what we do with that greater ease is up to us. Say there's a certain demographic that wants to use technology to play people, or act like this is a casino. Like you're literally, with your cell phone, like, I got 7, and some people get really way into these apps and into the iPhones and just into the whole thing itself. There's almost to be a science behind it and a social engineering behind it. Oh, create your reality, just a flick of a finger. So I think for reasons even I am not even fully conscious of, but as time goes on, I am more conscious of it. It's the reason I'm not into iPhones and that whole thing. Something about it. I mean, just the thumb scan programming alone to touch the screen. I'm not here to attack you for being a cell phone user. I think that whether it was intended or unintended, it has replaced healthy, normal relationships between men and women. And I'm on record for several years saying that the cell phone today has replaced the protector for a lot of women. So it's given them a false sense of security. In a sense, they could be inadvertently putting themselves in harm's way if they were to become dependent on a technology and to not invest in real healthy relationships with men. I think that there is a danger in that. I think that there's a lot of danger in that. Now, there's something about how technology has replaced our relationships in a number of ways. We can also make a parting statement regarding people wanting to marry their robots or having sex with robots, and how both men and women are on record to be involved in this movement of having sexual relations with a robot. Then there's like the softer ways, though, in which it comes in first. And there are more female viewers of pornography than there used to be, because there's more forms of it that are tailored towards their interests. And there's ways in which the system, you can even call it the beast, has made pornography in general accessible to more children. Now, there are apparently sophisticated mechanical sex toys for women that have been around for years. I'm not familiar with all that's out there, and it's been a long time since, say, I've looked in a magazine where things like that were in them. There's also things that have been marketed towards men. But from what I understand, the dildo industry isn't that more profitable than the pocket pussy industry? And I'm just asking. So as men have pretty much been demonized whole scale for having sex hormones, when you look at the female world, and heaven forbid, have you ever heard of this thing called anal beads? Anyhow, I remember one time, sticking my hand into a box after trying to find something that was stolen from me at the age of 14, 15, and I didn't find what was stolen from me, but what I surely found was anal beads that were owned by the person that stole from me. So that was an interesting revelation. Remember that one time, that old roommate in 2009. I was only there for a month, briefly, but I had to use the computer to use email, so I'm going to go to hotmail.com, and in typing hotmail.com, what website comes up that she was just at? Oh, hogtied.com. That's right. So there's a chick getting off BDSM pornography. That's fine. Use all the dildos you need. Here are all the batteries you need. But to say that it's just a male thing is not exactly correct. Oh, talk about awkward. When I was working at that restaurant town, that 14-year-old girl is food running, brings in Shades of Grey. It's like I'm working next to this, and I got to see this programming up close. Why are you bringing the book Shades of Grey, which is about BDSM and other things that are being introduced more and more to our population as our society goes deeper and deeper into bondage, from the macro to the micro? They're bringing some of this Gnostic understanding of where the stuff's coming from, and the deeper psychological roots, causal factors, why this stuff's becoming more popular in our society. So as it does, romance with robots continues to be a discussion, and people talk about the year 2050 where more humans will be marrying their robots. They also talk about the new humans by 2045. Very interesting. Are we seeing a culling right now, by the way, of Middle East? Some people wonder if Albert Pike's World War III prophecy is coming to fruition. But that aside, we talk about technology replacing our relationships. Facebook being instrumental in it, YouTube being instrumental in it. I'll tell you what, it's great that I'm able to use YouTube to share my ideas with others and social media. It absolutely has replaced our real relationships and friendships in some cases, especially for some of you that are always able to see me. Right? You're always able to see me. Just go to my channel. Not really able to see you. It's not really a regular friendship or relationship. It's a show on a regular basis. But don't think those of us that are on the other side of the camera are living a party. In some cases, we suffer. We also know, for controversial speakers like I am, how by putting out these controversial ideas using technology can cause our lives to suffer if people may judge us. But we also go, well, why would we want to be with someone who would judge us? We only would want someone that would want us for who we are. So I am going to bathe myself, if you will, in the riches of the best of technology, what it can do for us to output these ideas while we still have this. And in turn, a lot of positive things have happened in my life because of the outreach I'm doing with you. So it's not all bad. And I've also met some very interesting people, and men and women over the years, as well as unique individuals. But I've also met some decent people, and I'm hoping that through this video series, I'm going to continue to have good allies in my life, good friends in my life as time progresses. But women should be warned, especially if we care about them, whether we're trying to have sex with them, or they're a relative, or it's just maternal love. Just to be kind to women in general and to put out good energy. I'm not trying to cause them to have a heart attack. There's a lot of dependency on technology that can turn around and bite us in the ass when we go away from being really grounded in, for example, keeping yourself safe and having true common sense, street smarts, not just street smarts of that particular moment. So a lot of people street smarts, it's have a little self-defense weapon or a cell phone, but it's street smarts based in a particular matrix or way of things being a certain way. Well, what if the grid is gone? And there are no longer ways that you just dial 911 and you're showing frustration and a surprise like, damn it won't dial, but they're banging on the door, there's 5 of them. Well, this is the risk you take, honey, with living single in a major U.S. city. I've been warning you for many years and have felt judged by you. And what I see is a whole society of American women that have used robotics, used Facebook, and used the grid to replace men in ways the grid and the social engineers have encouraged you to discard men, especially good men. Leave them out in the street. Well, they haven't worked as hard. Well, it's time for you to get yours. And don't say, because you're a woman and you're feeling offended, that you feel bad because I'm bringing this up, that other women are doing this, that you're feeling bad. You need to grow up and get out of that mindset. That's one of the biggest hindrances that you have. I don't associate with the men that are killing innocent people in the Middle East, i.e. U.S. troops. I don't associate with Middle Eastern terrorists. I don't associate with the Japanese Yakuza. I don't associate with, drunken thugs in the UK, soccer hooligans. But do I associate with humanity? Yes. And amongst humanity, you're going to have some bad eggs. Does that reflect on all of humanity? No. So get over it. Then I'm talking about how a lot of women have thrown away men and they're using technology and the money being given to them in the system, this illusion of security. And they're going to end up fucked as a result. Okay? Don't hate the messenger. Take what I'm saying with a grain of, take what you want and leave the rest. I don't tell you how to think. But am I going to hold back what I think? No. Not when it comes to relationships. So when it comes to technology, it's replaced. In many cases, the meetups, the friendships, the get-together, there's a lot of people that are just sitting there on their flat screens addicted. They're addicted almost to that color. And you know what? I swear, that color and staring into that light, it is not good for the third eye. My advice to women and men, find ways to reconnect with nature, find ways to reconnect with yourself, find ways to reconnect with spirit. You don't have to go off grid, but it can help to go on vacations at least, go to the national park. Or when I was in Portland, it really helped for me to go to certain parks and hike for many hours, even within Portland. I would do my best to tap into that nature energy, even though it was a major city. I would go to those places where I felt right. And I'll tell you what, nowadays, I'm so sensitive, I don't feel right in a lot of these technology, smart grid, smart meter, surrounded cities. It's electromagnetic, unnatural. It's unnatural electromagnetic pollution. And so all these technological influences from the cell phone towers to the chemtrails, to also, we have this aftermath of Fukushima. They do say that it's now reaching U.S. shores. Talk about the Zika sprain and what it did to the bees recently, and so much more for years. Television and radio broadcasts on the analog band, and now so much is going on in the digital, not to mention subliminal. We need to resist the Borg. We need to hold on to our humanity. If need be, we need to take off our shoes and let our bare feet touch the ground, to feel that moisture on your face, to feel that sun on your forehead, and even, if you can, when you're up early, look at the sun as it rises and look at the sun as it goes down. If you have someone in your life, to know the difference between being another animal, treating them like an animal, and holding them close and loving them with all your heart. So I think that we need to connect. I'm not a big fan of the hugging random strangers in the street at all. That's like the biggest turnoff to me. But the idea of hugging someone that you care about, or memories where I've hugged someone that I was in desire for, and even if nothing worked out, we'll have this certain feeling or sensation, the alchemical of actually feeling that woman heart to heart, very powerful. It's almost as if you could fly. You know what? This technology, putting technology first, what it's done, it's actually break a lot of the hearts of the men of this world. And it's causing a problem that collectively the women are not addressing. I will remind them of the problem, of the brokenheartedness of using technology and acting like you care with your comments, and that thinking that that's love by using machine as the interface. There's going to be consequences for this direction that we took in our society. Okay, so there are good aspects of technology, which I've referenced, and I point out a video. I didn't say it's all bad. But is there a bad? Is there a consequence? From the heart to actual physical safety and things I haven't mentioned? Yes, there is. So I will come back with more videos commentating on relationships in today's New World Order. I'm Alex Ansary signing off for the year 2017, June 2nd.